Here to talk about that and other basketball-related things is Nate Duncan, longtime NBA cap guy, scout, host of the daily Dunc'd On Podcast. You can find him on Twitter at Nate Duncan NBA. He is with us on the Home Run In Pizza Hotline. Think outside the oven. Try a home run in off the grill this summer. Hello, Nate. Nate, are you there?
Not a particularly good way to start.
Nate is also done for the summer.
It's just, it's me. It doesn't happen to anybody else. I don't know why.
You ever thought it's that people just don't like you?
It could be, but I push the same buttons as everybody else. It's the same phone bank. Literally, it's the same seat, same microphone.
I haven't had any trouble with that phone at all.
I have this effect on, and I make the callers dumber, and I make the guests not be there.
I'd like to say it's not you, it's me, but I don't think anyone would believe that.
I'll never understand it. And by the way, you can watch all that's going on here on our video stream at 670thescore.com. It's brought to you by American Needle. American Needle is a true Chicago original. Buy local from American Needle. Let's try this again. Nate Duncan, hello.
Hey, guys. Sorry about that. How's it going?
It's going great. And we saw the fait accompli arrive, that everybody thought that here's one of the greatest teams that's ever been assembled, and maybe the greatest team that's ever been assembled, and the guy that made it that, Kevin Durant, who chose to go there, turned out to be the best player on the best team, and here we are. Is it that simple?
Yeah, that's a lot of it, really, but I think also lost in this is just how well he fit into their system and how, his ability to shoot and play both on and off the ball was so important, because even if they tried to fit in like LeBron James, it probably wouldn't have worked as well, right? Because he's the guy who needs the ball in his hands. The fact that KD was so versatile, that all their other stars are such great shooters as well, and then that they have this egalitarian system offensively and, are a great defensive team. You could fit right into what they wanted to do playing small as well. All of that shouldn't be overlooked as well.
What do you think Cleveland can do, and what do you think they should do?
That's an interesting question, right? I think, Kevin Love played in certain games in this series about as well as you could expect. He does provide a place for some of their worst offensive players to hide, or even more so, they can just go at him every time. And Ty Lue alluded to that a little bit. He said, they started going at our worst defensive players every time. We couldn't really do anything about that. And granted, Cleveland could just get better communication defensively. They're not a great defensive team overall. But I do think they have to think about seeing what they can get for Kevin Love. Paul George, that might not be realistic because Love only has one more year left on his contract beyond George. I'm not sure the Pacers would be that interested in the 28-year-old Love if they're trying to rebuild. Let's see, maybe if there's another team that might be interested in him, or a three-way trade. I think they just need to get more guys who can play small, who can switch defensively, who can guard Kevin Durant. I mean, they had two guys in the whole roster who could credibly guard Kevin Durant and at least make him work a little bit. And one of those is LeBron James, so you can't tire him out. He's going to be 33 next finals. So that's what I would be looking at if I were the Cavaliers.
Nate, we're continuing to have some audio quality problems here. So if you don't mind, I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to see if the producers can do something about remedying that.
This is going great.
We'll see if we can reestablish with a little better audio quality there. But the Paul George was the name that I had continued to hear, but that's probably a pipe dream, right? And does that even do it? That's the thing. Even if you say you can spin the magic wheel and everything comes up for the Cavaliers, I still don't think that does it.
You don't have enough guys who can play defense, who can match up with they have.
Does anybody? Can anybody defend that?
Well, how many guys would you need? I mean, how many guys would you need to defend them?
You would need a bunch of similarly sized guys. You need to clone LeBron so you could switch multiple screens.
You're making him work so hard on defense that it takes a toll. It took a toll for sure those last three games. I mean, he was feeling it in all of those.
All right, let's see if we can get the improved sound quality here. Nate, you there?
Yes, I am. Yeah, downtown Oakland, the cell service could be better here.
Yeah. Well, what does it mean that the Warriors are this good now, and now that the league has seen what this has done, has seen it come to this conclusion, what are other NBA general managers to do?
Well, I think for 95% of the league, your goal is just to not get fired and make your team as good as you can be, right? If you're a Memphis or you're an Orlando or something like that, where you're in a market, you're trying to win, make some money for your franchise, it doesn't change it that much. If you're the Boston Celtics, if you're the San Antonio Spurs, maybe you say, hey, next year the team's going to be just as good. Let's try and get them a year from now when Steph Curry and Kevin Durant are both in their 30s and Draymond Green is older as an undersized four. Maybe we can get him 2 years from now instead of this year.
Is it too simple to say that this team could win with anybody behind the bench, or is Steve Kerr really good at this?
Well, people have said that. I think he is. I think he's the top 2 coach in the league. And the fact that he could go out and it still ran so smoothly, that to me is actually a testament to what he built and how good he actually is, as opposed to saying that, hey, anybody can do this. So I think that, like, the system that he's built, the fact that everyone is so unselfish, the culture, I think that shows how good of a coach he is, not that he, is not very valuable.
What about the Bulls in this scenario then? Because you mentioned some other teams saying if you're these teams, if you're those teams, in which of those silos do you have the Bulls right now?
You know what time it is? I'm sorry, say that again?
All right, I think we're struggling a little bit too much with the audio here. So, Nate, we're just going to say thanks for your time, and maybe next we can get a little better hookup another time. Thank you, Nate. We appreciate it.
We're having what is known in the business as technical times right now.
Somebody just wanted to know from him what time it was.
Game time! Woo.